This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Philippines, maayong gabi, kaninyong tanan, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, up to Sabah. Marhaban kay Halik, kay Falhal, Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Ito po si Eric Espina at ito ang inyong Republika. Well, tonight we're going to talk about charter change. It's expected we will also touch on federalism as a system of government that may or may not be adopted by our government or by our people. And we're going to talk to a member of the Consultative Commission for Charter Change back in 2004 during President GMA's time. And well, I got him back because he has a full perspective, no? Being at that time the president of the Liga ng mga barangay, no, sa buong Pilipinas. So he had his ear to the ground as to what was the real sentiment. Was there a tumult for actual charter change at that time? So we have, maybe I'll call him member, commissioner, James Marty Lim. Good evening.
Good evening, Eric.
Yes.
Thank you for having me back.
Can you give us just as a backgrounder, you were a member of the Consultative Commission, and I remember you were very vocal about the trend. No, I mean, this seemed like also a train towards charter change. But you were the only lonely voice. You were the young David speaking against charter change at that time, no? And then I remember very clearly, you even spoke about a certain percentage of barangays all over the Philippines who practically do not really understand or who may be for charter change, and a majority was against. So how did this Consultative Commission start out?
Well, actually, to correct lang, I wasn't really alone. Out of 54, we were 7.
Okay.
Number one. And then number two, to set the record straight, we were not really against for the sake of being against.
Okay.
We had a study done, and then this is actually scientific.
Okay.
We can back it up with certain facts and figures. It's not speculative in nature, no? So as a matter of fact, in the beginning, I was for a few of the changes.
Okay.
We are not against change per se.
Okay.
We just didn't want the certain provisions to be touched, especially the political side of it, no? Of course, we agreed that we are for the amendment or removal of the provisions on ownership of land. All of these economic provisions are basically okay.
Okay.
Changing the term of office. These are actually minor things that needs really to be improved. As a matter of fact, one of the issues was to this day the anti-dynasty. I was actually funny because at that time I was actually for the removal of that anti-dynasty bill force, because we're the only country in the world with an anti-dynasty provision when we are not monarchical in nature. We are
very good.
This is actually an elective thing, no?
Yes.
So that particular provision was inserted. If you look at the archives, it's primarily a anti-Marcos provision.
Okay.
So what they're trying to avoid was a repeat. But for me, at that time, I had some research done And that was not the root cause to cure that. In another topic, to cure, let's say, the dynasty issue, it's really strengthening the political parties. That's really the solution. So during those days, we were in the debate was whether to shift to a parliamentary federal form of government.
Okay.
So we were pretty much against the parliamentary form at the time.
Okay.
Simply because the issue of primus inter pares has...
For the Prime Minister, you mean to say?
Yeah, to elect a Prime Minister, you
Yes.
need a very strong history and base.
Yes.
And I presented facts that why it is not suited. It's not basically because you just want to be against, but why is it not suited to the Filipino? I gave them statistics.
When you mean Filipino culture, psyche, history?
Yes, our demographics.
Yes, okay.
Like if you look at the parliamentary countries, you will see that only Japan with 3,000 islands is parliament.
Okay.
But you also have to respect the fact that they have an emperor, which we don't.
Yes.
Number two, most of the countries that went that are parliament are contiguous, meaning to say they are not broken into islands. Like we are 7,100 islands.
Yes, yes.
So it's gonna be demographically difficult. And the worst is, we are a society average age of 22. So these are my strong points why I believe it is not for us. 22 years old average age versus Japan, which is average age of their society is 46.
Okay.
And the other European countries with high average age of, meaning to say high level of maturity.
Okay.
22
Which means
years
they
old,
also have an experience with parliamentary form of government.
Yes, so the 22-year-olds are basically, the parliamentary kasi is not for the very emotional people.
Okay.
You know, if you're emotional, the tendency is, parang lola natin, kahit mali ka, tama ka, para sa kanya mali ka pa rin.
Oh, yes, yes.
So at the end of the day, we have this culture na meron tayong tinatawag na tampuhan.
Okay.
And in the Filipino culture, pag nagtampuhan tayo, it becomes personal. And when things become personal, we actually don't really think that logical. That's why you need a strong man, you need all of these things, no? And the issue on primus inter pares, you really need a strong party system. Otherwise, you will have the anarchs, you have the oligarchs ruling over everything because you can afford to buy the seats, you can afford to fund, especially now, you have issues on narco politicians being funded. It's now easy to control the country if you want more drugs, if it's in a parliamentary form, because you can easily fund. In short, it's easy to divide and rule.
What you're saying is it's easier for a very rich politician to buy 200
seats.
members of parliament
Yes.
rather than what, 50 million Filipinos voters or 60 million
Voting for, let's say, a president.
for president, yes.
Yeah, so it's very hard to fund a president. You'll never know if they'll win. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, the only issue I think that needs to be corrected with our current form of government is that we need to really have we have to veer towards two-party. If we
Okay.
have strong parties, it's like a basketball game.
Yes.
You should only have two teams running or playing against each other in a basketball championship game.
Yes, yes.
Unfortunately, a pattern natin is like sabong. You can have karambola, meaning to say you
Yes,
can
yes.
have 10 candidates
Yeah.
fighting against
Yes,
each
yes.
other, and unfortunately for us, the weakest in that model, the weakest, as long as you have the way to maneuver, the most popular becomes the winner. No, very rarely will you be able to see somebody chosen with complete.
And he's a minority president as always.
Always. You see, the problem there is when you say majority, it's really 50%
Plus
one.
one, yes.
Unfortunately, after Cory, we never had a 50% plus one. Even, let's say, the time of ERAP, he was one of the most popularly
Popular, yes.
voted.
Yes, yes.
He only got, I think, 30%. Even now, President Duterte,
Yes.
one of the most popular also, none of them actually got 51%.
And that's
of
where
the
I think
entire voting.
some people are arguing that under our system, it's very divisive. When you enter into politics, it's so divisive because there are actually, 4 or 5 other candidates that run against you. And all those who voted for those 4 or 5 other presidential candidates did not vote for you, which means they are against you.
Yes.
So it's hard to create a consensus on the first day of office, for that matter.
Yeah. So it's very unfortunate that our solution, the cure is to change the form of government. When you can actually cure that.
By a two-party system.
Yeah, by a two-party system. Or let's say, for example, there should be a runoff.
Okay.
As simple as that.
But that'll be expensive, huh?
No, not a runoff in terms of election. For example, for you to first be treated as a political, one of my proposals at the time was, for you to be considered a national party, you must recruit at least 10% of the voting population as members.
Okay.
Sana ganun ang ginawa natin. Why?
Okay.
That will also cure the problem of turncoatism. Because then you will have a party with real voters as members.
Okay.
Just like before. If the voters themselves were liberal or nationalista.
And the families were also either liberal or nationalista.
Yes, so it's like a religion.
Okay.
You have to be a member. It's like an institution. It's either you're LaSalle or Ateneo.
Yes, yes.
You see?
Yes.
And you will never send your worst debater to a debate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
So it is the schools, it is the institution that will process who will be your candidate.
Yes, yes.
That way, we will be choosing the greater good.
The best of the best within,
best,
let's say, LaSalle, or the best of the best of Ateneo.
Exactly.
Because they have a pre-selection process already.
Exactly.
Right now,
there's none.
it's open
That's
to all.
why I was saying, no, sorry to quote history, but we were a little bit misguided, no, when Quezon said, my loyalty to the party ends where my loyalty to the country begins. And immediately he transferred from one party to another. So, so that's actually the folly there. No? If you look at it, that's the start of turncoatism. So that means if you're disloyal to your party, but the party is the people eh. At that time, time ang member ng mga LP and nationalista, sila yung botante.
Yes, yes.
So pag disloyal ka dun sa party na, it's like saying if you're disloyal to LaSalle or you're already disloyal to your fellow classmates, your supporters per se. So ito rin yung situation, or let's say if you're disloyal to the Catholic Church,
Yes, yes, yes.
disloyal to the entire Catholic, di ba, membership.
And then, if I recall right, because the families were divided into liberal and nationalista, although they were friends at the barrio level, this is the very same families that become the inspectors in the precinct level for liberal and nationalista.
You have to understand, Eric, okay lang if it's the voters na nagtatransfer. That means I don't like your policy.
Yes.
It's my option.
Yes.
But the politicians should not.
Correct.
Because you have to defend, because you guys should have discussed your platform.
Yes.
You guys should have discussed why are we fighting for this.
You should have a philosophy for that matter.
Correct.
Yes.
Anong nangyari, na-disregard yan. Everybody thinks na, pare-pareho naman ng platform. No, it's wrong. The structure, just like schools, the curriculum, everybody has the same curriculum.
Precisely, yes.
But the quality of the curriculum differs.
Correct.
Yan yun. Let's say if LaSalle ka, business. If Ateneo ka, law. Something like that. So you will see. But pareho naman silang may law.
Even the teachers are different.
Yes.
Okay, there are some areas where one school is good at particular sport.
Exactly.
And the other, it's the other school.
Exactly. So dapat ganun ang binibigay natin na choices. In short, you have to go back to the natural law ito eh. Basic. Yung partido ang dapat ayusin. Meaning to say, in the Philippines, if you look at the setup, the president, the one running for president is also the chairman of the party, is also, everything siya eh.
Oh, yes.
So siya team captain. It's like a basketball team. You're the MVP, you're also the team owner, you're also the, di ba? You're also the coach. So at the end of the day, how will it be strong?
Yes.
That's the reason why when this party wins, this president wins,
everybody transfers.
Everybody transfers.
Yes.
The politicians transfers.
Where are the Liberal Party members now before?
Diba? So where are they now?
They
Your
all-
guests are as good.
They all transferred.
See, that's why there is this turncoatism issue.
Okay, you hold on to that point on turncoatism. We'll touch on that, and there's a law regarding turncoatism. And I'm just going to feed this question to Marty. Why do people actually change parties? They always join the majority party or the party of the administration when we return.